Heyo, happy weekend, everybody. We're super excited because we got the one and only James Moses Black coming on the show to talk about basically anything and everything. This guy is absolutely amazing, but he also starred in the one and only Lansky, talking about Meyer Lansky.
Yeah, I mean, did you say anything and everything? That's true. He's talking zombies, mobsters, sports.
Yeah.
Like, just the entire realm of anything we could talk about, we talked about.
Yeah, seriously, man. It's a great one for the up-and-comers because this guy's been at it for many, many years and just being very, very successful at his craft. Very talented individual and keeping that positive mindset, which is very important, so everybody is going to completely enjoy this one. But that is later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, we're on episode 170 this week.
Oh my gosh.
Damn! We're there, man. We're right there.
Yeah, gonna celebrate 175 soon, right? And then 200. And rumor has it, but you know, because you guys have been asking. Well, 175 is the number, guys. Forever guest Rebecca's gonna come back.
Yes, everybody's super excited.
I know. So stop asking.
Exactly.
She's coming back.
Calm down. But yes, she's a busy gal, and we're busy people as well. So it's going to be absolutely a blast. And of course, you guys know your host with the most, myself, JLo Fantastic, and the one and only Mao.
What's up?
And you guys know you can follow us both at JLo Fantastic and at Crazy Ant Guy 1970 anywhere and everywhere on all freaking social media platforms. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all those good places. But we have to give you a little tease on this next interview that we have coming up next week. We went Zoom, guys. We went to the Zoom, and we're going to be interviewing people face-to-face from now on after this week.
Yes. You have been warned. You're going to see the crazy as well as hear it.
Oh, man. It was a lot of fun, though, so we're super excited to expose you guys to that craziness. So, man, oh, man. But, yeah, like you said, Disney, there's some good news with the stock prices going back up, and there was a conference call about the fiscal year and all that good stuff. But, Chapek is just in this freaking dirty-ass hot tub of a realm that he just cannot get out of.
Yeah. Let's jump into it. Like you said, there was some good news to start off with, which Chapek needed because things were going pretty bad. That stock was like, woo! But the third quarter beat expectations. It beat Wall Street's expectations, right? Better than expected. The bottom line and its streaming service. Apparently, Disney Plus added 12 million global subscribers, bringing the total to 116 million in less than 2 years. That has all the other streamers trembling, I would think. So that's good news, right? Revenues climbed 45%, hitting $17 billion, up from $11.8 billion. So that's almost a $5 billion jump over the third quarter. That's huge news. And Disney posted a profit of $995 million, so almost $1 billion, or 80 cents per share. That compared favorably with the loss of $4.8 billion, or $2.62 a share last year, as we know, in the middle of all the pandemic. So that's all good news. How did it break down? Let's give it to you. The company's media and entertainment division, which includes all the film, television, streaming, blah, 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 $12.7 billion in revenue, 18% improvement on the prior year. The theme parks, experiences and products division logged $4.3 billion in revenue compared to $1.1 billion last year, which is great. And net income at the division hit $365 million, up from $1.9 billion the prior year. And it's direct to consumer, which is Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, all that kind of stuff, saw 57% growth from the year ago in the same quarter. So all of that is great news, right? That seems like even though we're seeing a little resurgence in Delta variant and a little bit of the parks are still open, people are still kind of going to the movies a little bit, so they made some money.
Yeah.
They made some money, and Chapek needed that.
Yeah, he really did. And during this earnings call, Disney CEO Bob Chapek Chapek himself also doubled down on the film's decision to release Black Widow on Disney Plus, which everybody knows it's been a lot of mixed reviews. In the theaters and on Disney Plus at the same time, Chapek also addressed the company's ongoing salary drama with Scarlett Johansson, saying, quote, Bob Iger and I, along with the distribution team, determined this was the right strategy to enable us to reach the broadest possible audience. While unsurprising that Chapek would bring Iger into the conversation, given his decades-long relationship with the top talent and the ongoing role as executive chairman, this is the first time Iger has been mentioned since Johansson's lawsuit has been filed, back in late July. Chapek also made a point depicting that Johansson's legal fight is anonymously saying, quote, since COVID, we've entered into hundreds of arrangements with talent. By and large, they've gone smoothly. Now, he also suggested that when Disney has had their alter its release plans for the movies, it has come up with ways to reward stars whose bonuses were tied to the box office performance, saying, quote, we figured out ways to fairly compensate our talent so that no matter what, it's what the business model is, everybody feels satisfied. But moving forward, our release strategies will be made on a film-by-film basis on a global marketplace conditionings and consumer behavior. And our team will take a bespoke approach to each individual project to do what's best for the movie and its constituents. I think he's just trying to cover his ass, and I don't think he had a conversation with Bob Iger, making it like a mutual thing to simultaneously release on both streaming platform and in theaters. I think he's just trying to cover his ass, and Disney is not in a good position with this man running the ship.
No, you notice Iger didn't confirm that. Iger didn't come out with a statement and say, that's right.
He wasn't backing him.
Chapek's right. Because we know Iger was pissed off that they made this move. And you know why I think he said Iger? Because Iger loves Disney so much, he's not going to come out and make a statement against Chapek because he knows it would damage the stock price and it would damage the company. And Iger loves the company too much to do that. That's my opinion why I think Chapek felt safe to throw Iger's name out there. Feige, on the other hand, I think would have no problem, which is why Iger didn't bring Feige up. We do know from inside reports, though, guys, that both Iger and Feige are fucking pissed about the Black Widow situation, right? So what does Chapek do? Let's piss off more people at Marvel. What? This is the gravy train, buddy. This is the money maker. This is the biggest stream of revenue that you have for Disney, and you're fucking it up, bro. So not only did he, continue his bullshit with Scarlett Johansson, but also during the earnings call, Chapek apparently referred to the upcoming film Shang-Chi as an interesting experiment. Well,
that's rough.
That didn't go over so well with the star, Simu Liu, who took to social media to respond to Chapek's little comment. He said, quote, we are not an interesting experiment. We are an underdog, the underestimated. We are the ceiling breakers. We are the celebration of culture and joy that will preserve after an embattled year. We are the surprise. I'm fired the fuck up to make history on September 3rd. Join us.
Fired the fuck up in a way that he's excited to fucking finally put this movie out there for everybody to see, but also fired the fuck up being upset about Chapek's comments. This is absolutely ridiculous. How would you say experiment, especially with a diverse cast like that? I feel like it's damn near borderline racist, but
No, exactly. And then you see the back and forth with Scarlett Johansson. So he's got women issues.
Yeah.
He's apparently got issues with Asian culture as interesting experiments. What the fuck, Chapek?
Yeah.
We're saying it, buddy. What the fuck? I think this is all bad news for Disney. The numbers might have put a little Band-Aid on the fucking wound, but you're still bleeding, bro.
It's pretty
rough. And you got to get that shit under control, man.
It's very rough. But some happy Marvel news. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
What If dropped this week on Wednesday. It marks a huge milestone for Marvel, being its first animated project from Marvel Studios. As the title suggests, the show takes you on a full advantage of storytelling possibilities of the multiverse, officially that Loki established. Each self-contained episode explores different alternative storylines, like Captain America's Peggy Carter taking up the super soldier serum role instead of Steve Rogers, and what if Black Panther's T'Challa was abducted from Earth and as a child instead of Guardian of the Galaxy's Peter Quill, and so he becomes Star-Lord. And like I said, it's the first Marvel Studios animation project, and a lot of people are really excited about it. I'm still very curious to see if that mainstream audience from the live-action shows will transfer over to the animation. No matter what, it's Marvel, so dead-heart loyal Marvel fans will watch this thing, but you have those fair-weather fans who don't watch every single movie, so I'm curious if those people will go and watch this one.
Yeah, we don't have any numbers yet, but I'm betting by next week's show we'll have the debut numbers for it. Yeah, I'm curious too to see if it'll do as well as the live action, but based on social media reaction, you would think that it will because it was booming everywhere. People loved it. I loved it. I don't know about I thought it was fucking fantastic.
I thought the animation was great. I thought the story wasn't as best as it could be. But, I enjoyed it overall. I thought the story could have used a little bit more work. Sometimes I just felt kind of lagging and kind of bored.
Well, I think that's intentional, though, because after we talked about last week about how she's going to be the central figure moving forward throughout the entire season, I think episode 1 was literally just her setup, and her story continues throughout the rest of it.
Yeah, so hopefully it's better. But, like I said, first impressions, like a 7 out of 10.
I loved it. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
hey, that's not it, though. That's not the only Marvel news we got, right? We also have a release date for Hawkeye, finally. Apparently, the Jeremy Renner starring series will debut on Disney Plus November 24th, so right before Thanksgiving, which is going to be so badass. And if you don't know how many days away that is, no problem, because apparently you can keep track of just how many days it is. They put a countdown clock on the Marvel.com website to let you know when it was coming.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's kind of badass.
Right, and if you guys haven't noticed, basically every time one of these Marvel shows ends, a week or two pass, and there's another one coming.
Yes.
So, you got your Marvel fix. Free Guy, the sci-fi action comedy starring Ryan Reynolds, is expected to finish first this weekend at the domestic box office. The PG-13 film is on track to debut around 15 to 18 million, but it's getting released in a shit ton of theaters, 4,100 North American theaters.
Yeah.
With some projections showing ticket sales could reach 20 million. A debut below 20 million would be disappointing since Disney and 20th Century Studios movie costs more than 100 million to produce, which makes sense. There's a lot of freaking CGI with this thing.
There is.
The release of Free Guy is significant because the first Disney film in about a year to have a traditional theatrical rollout. Free Guy will be available only in theaters for 45 days. The reason for that, Free Guy is being exclusively released in theaters and not on Disney Plus because the film is part of the long-standing output deal with 20th Century Fox and Warner Media that calls for Fox's theatrical releases to have their first pay TV window on HBO. So you'll probably be seeing that one pop up on HBO Max. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Kind of, not really. I'm not excited for this film. I think it looks kind of stupid.
I did see earlier today, though, the numbers are tracking a little better than that. Like about 26 million it looks like it's going to make. So at least that's above the $20 million mark, right? It's one of those I don't know. It's just another one of those films that's going to be bouncing back and forth. Like you said, HBO Max first, then Disney Plus. So if you're not seeing it in the theater, maybe that's why it's doing a little better than projected, because you have to see it in the theater because you're not going to be able to see it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And if you don't have HBO Max, you won't see it at all, except for in the theater. So,
Exactly.
It's just one of those weird things where it bounces back and forth from streamer to streamer. They're doing that a lot. This is exciting news, though, and I guess this is maybe one of those deals that Chapek was referring to that went pretty well. I don't know. But Emma Stone has apparently closed a deal to star in the upcoming Cruella 2. The new agreement comes on the heels of the lawsuit that Scarlett Johansson filed about not getting paid, but apparently Emma Stone is getting paid. They worked something out with her, so I'm excited though. That movie did really well, and it was a big performer for them. So good, and I like Emma Stone. So
Yeah, exactly. Still have to watch the first one, so it's going to be interesting to see.
they got to keep some people happy because they're pissing off Marvel people. So
Exactly. Kate Burton is set to reprise her role as Dr. Ellis Gray in Grey's Anatomy. Remember, this is Meredith's mom, guys. With season 18 premiering and airing on September 30th, the beach sequence concluded with Meredith waking up towards the end of last season, but it's unclear how Ellis Gray will be reintroduced into the show. Ellis was last seen in season 15 back in 2019, Blood and Water, appearing in Meredith's dream. Ellis, who was suffering from Alzheimer's, died in season 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, so that's going to be interesting. They're not doing these beach scenes anymore, and she's dead, so
I think it's going to be a lot of dream sequences.
You think, even though it's so she's awake now, but she's still going to be having these things in the dreams?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like, hey, don't turn out like me. Quit, retire. So,
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Okay.
And it should be the last season.
It should be.
Just putting that out there.
Yes.
I love it, but please end it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what's left? Is she going to wake up in the shower? She's going to be in the shower and find out it was the entire run was a dream, like in Dallas. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah, here's another one we've been talking about, right, for a long time. ABC's upcoming Latino drama series, Promised Land. We've been talking about it for several months on the show. Well, we can now officially say that the network has picked it up to series. Officially picked it up to series.
Nice.
Matt Lopez is set to write and executive produce the pilot for the story that follows two Latinx families vying for wealth and power in California's Sonoma Valley. Lopez has developed a number of other projects with ABC and other broadcasters in the past. ABC's Signature is going to be the studio for this one. So
there you go.
There you go.
Oh, man. And the network has, however, opted not to proceed with the fairy tale themed Epic, exclusively produced by Once Upon a Time creators Adam Horowitz and Edward Kittis. The large-scope drama headlined by Brittany O'Grady, also starring Sarah Hyland and Eleanor Fianca, was described as a romantic anthology that reinvents fairy tales for a new audience.
Yeah, so as big as Once Upon a Time was, and the creators behind that, I thought that was a shoo-in, but apparently not.
Yeah, right?
I know you're super excited about this one.
Fuck
Disney
no. I'm really not.
Sarcasm. See, you can't do it. Disney Plus has announced the Home Sweet Home Alone, the revival of the Home Alone holiday film franchise, as you guys know, will appear exclusively on Disney Plus November 12th. Ellie Kemper, Rob Delaney, and Archie Yates are going to top line the Dan Mazer-directed film, which is the first in a line of planned Disney refreshes of Fox titles post-merger. Yates plays Max Mercer, a mischievous, resourceful young boy who has been left behind while his family is in Japan for the holidays. So when a married couple attempting to retrieve a priceless heirloom set their sights on the family's home, it's up to Max to protect it from the trespassers.
I mean, whatever. This is going to be Disney Plus's, I don't want to say first, well, it's going to be their first non-Pixar film that will be released exclusively on Disney Plus and not in theaters. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to critique it like hell. But like I said, there's no need. There's no need. The first two were perfect. You don't need to remake them. Okay.
Yeah.
Enough said. Hulu has rounded out its cast for a highly anticipated How I Met Your Mother update. How I Met Your Father, the 10-episode comedy, revolves around Sophie, everybody knows, played by Hilary Duff,
Yep.
who is telling her son the story about how she met his father. Sophie and her close-knit group of friends, who are all in the midst of figuring out who the hell they are, what they want out of life, and how to fall in love in an age of dating apps and limitless options. Now, here's the full cast. Hilary Duff stars as Sophie, obviously, as I just said, and serves as producer on the series. Chris Lowell, who's from Veronica Mars, plays Jesse, an aspiring musician who works as an Uber driver and just to make ends meet. Francisca Rasha from Grownish plays Valinta, Sophie's roommate. The character is an aspiring stylist and Sophie's great friend. Tom Ainsley from The Royals will play Charlie, an aspiring model who fell in love with Valentina at London Fashion Week, who followed her to New York. Tyne Tran from Space Force will play Ellen, Jesse's adopted sister, who just moved to New York from a small farming town after separating from her wife. Suraj Sharma from God Friended Me rounds out the cast as Sid, Jesse's roommate and best friend. He's a new bar owner and plays the optimist to Jesse's cynicism. So
there you go.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
I mean, it sounds like an interesting group of people, though, so it should be entertaining.
Agreed.
We'll see. Can it live up? I mean, I hope Barney makes an appearance. That's all I'm saying.
It'd be badass.
You know? Hey, Girl Meets World. You remember that? Yeah. Rowan Blanchard. Well, apparently her and Alula Kraholo. I'm sorry I butchered your name. I'm so sorry. Have signed on to lead Hulu's upcoming queer teen movie from director Sammy Cohen. Blanchard will play Paige, an aspiring artist who's thrust out of her comfort zone when forced to join the track team captained by her longtime crush. But she soon finds falling for the unexpected teammate, ultimately discovering that real love feels like. Crivello will play AJ, an elusive track star who has always lived in the shadow of her twin sister. Written by Kristen King and Casey Rackham, the untitled film is produced by Animal Pictures, which is Natasha Lyonne and Maya Rudolph's company. So, there you go.
Right? Very interesting, man. Very freaking interesting. Now, Ryan Murphy, everybody knows he's got a huge universe when it comes to this American Horror Story shit. He's expanding his television footprint once again with another installment of American Crime Story franchise, tentatively titled Studio 54, An American Crime Story. Now, it's in development at FX, and as well as the new limited anthology series American Love Story and American Sports Story. The first installment of American Love Story will tell a scripted tale of John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, while the first installment of America's Sports Story will focus on former NFL and convicted murderer Aaron Hernandez, currently in development. Now, Studio 54 American Crime Story will follow Steve Rubel and Ian Schrager, who in 1977 turned their Midtown Manhattan disco into an international mecca of the nightlife scene. After 3 years of lavish partying, music, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, they both fell hard when they were convicted of tax fraud.
Hiding that money up in the ceiling.
Exactly.
I'm super pumped about that, especially since we've been down in the little basement area.
It looks freaking awesome. Like, I'm loving all these concepts, though. I mean, these are definitely things that people have always been very interested in, so I think they're going to be huge.
Absolutely, but he's not finished. The spin-off from American Horror Story, you remember that? American Horror Stories? Well, it's apparently been renewed for Season 2 at FX on Hulu. The series is a spin-off, as you guys know, of American Horror Story, like I said. The first season of the spin-off series debuted in July, with the 7th and final episode of the season set to drop the 19th, which is like this coming week, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and season 2, I guess, is expected to debut in 2022.
There we go. Now, What We Do in the Shadows is none of your business, has been renewed for Season 4 at FX. Season 4 is slated to debut in 2022. The news comes ahead of the debut of the show's third season, which premieres in September. It's actually September 2nd, if you want to mark your calendars. The first 2 episodes of Season 3 that will drop the day and be available to stream on FX on Hulu the following day. So, you know, mark your calendars if you're super into this show. I know it's got a huge cult following, so I know a lot of people are excited about it.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't seen it. I don't know, either. But, you know, maybe I'll check it out at some point. Now, jump into Fox, which is not Disney. Fox, not FX. Go back and read the merger. Figure it out. Housebroken has been renewed for Season 2 at Fox. The animated comedy, you guys remember, stars Lisa Kudrow, Clea Duvall, Nat Faxon, Will Forte, Tony Hale, and so many others. You guys remember, Duvall also co-created the series. In Housebroken, Honey, who's played by Lisa Kudrow, a standard poodle, opens her living room for the group to come and support each other through the misery, mayhem, and majesty of being a pet.
It's super goofy. If you haven't check it out,
I
it's
haven't.
Super goofy.
But it's got a season 2.
Exactly. Warner Brothers now heading over to the bunny. They're trying to make amends with the theaters, all the theater chains, because they pissed a lot of them off with the same day release schedule back in the pandemic time with HBO Max and everything like that. But Warner Brothers and AMC Theaters have reached a formal agreement to show the studio's 2022 film slate on the big screen for an exclusive 45-day window. Now, Warner Brothers has had a similar plan with Cineworld, the owner of Regal Cinemas, back in April. So this only makes sense that they make around the same type of deal with AMC. Yep. Like I said, they're just trying to make amends, and everybody needs to make money, so this is the best way to do it.
It's still weird to me. 45 days. Like, that is so quick. I know most of the movies now make most of their money in that first weekend. Yeah. But still, just 45 days is like a blink, and then they're on streamers.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I don't know, man. Let's see. According to sources, the weekend viewership of Warner Brothers' The Suicide Squad on HBO Max, 2.8 million U.S. households over the film's Friday to Sunday timeframe. That number among movies on HBO Max marks the highest weekend ever for a DC property, ahead of Justice League's The Snyder Cut, which was only 1.8 million households, and ahead of Wonder Woman 1984, which was 2.2 million. The Suicide Squad underperformed in the opening at the domestic box office, although, you guys know, 26.5 million. That's below the hoped-for 30 million. And for example, there's reasons for that, we think. It was, one, available for free to 47 million people on HBO Max, and the surge of, the Delta variant, people are kind of shaky, so, makes sense that it did better on HBO Max than it did in the theaters.
Yeah, exactly. And if you would have went to the theaters, it might have helped it a little bit. Yeah. I'm just saying, everybody remember when he said Suicide Squad, superhero movies are meant for the theaters. This bitch watched it on HBO Max.
I couldn't sleep. I watched it on HBO Max.
And still didn't go to the theater and see it, but it's fine. It's fine.
Hey.
The long-awaited Spawn movie is finally back in the works. I know a lot of people are excited about this one.
I am.
This is very much a cult character, so, I'm pumped. Brian Tucker, who penned the 2013 Russell Crowe and Mark Wahlberg crime thriller Broken City, has been hired to write the script for the feature project. Jason Blum's Blumhouse production is behind the feature, which has Todd McFarlane, the creator of the comic and the character, attached as director. Now, the project has been in development since 2017.
Yeah.
And at one point had Jamie Foxx attached to star in the freaking awesome character role, and Jeremy Renner as the detective nicknamed Twitch. However, because time has passed since the initial boarding, it is unclear whether the actor is still involved. I hope so, man. Try to rope him back in. There's no doubt that he is super fucking busy, but he would make a great Spawn, in my opinion.
Oh, without doubt. And from what I know, the reason that Renner and Jamie Foxx agreed to do it was the script that McFarlane had written.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they're rewriting the script with a different writer. I hope you can keep the 2 stars, because they would be epic.
Agreed.
Really curious to see Jeremy Renner's Twitch. Mm-hmm. That's going to be really cool. So, man, I hope so. Robert Rodriguez, oh my gosh, this is huge news, and his Troublemaker Studios have signed a first-look deal with HBO and HBO Max. Now, under the deal, Rodriguez will bring projects to HBO Max and HBO for potential development as original series. Oh,
nice.
Racer Rodriguez's son, will serve as lead development executive under the pact. Productions could also potentially be completed at the Troublemaker production facilities based in Austin, Texas. So there you go. That's exciting, man.
It
and
is
I love
very
that he's getting his son in on it.
Yeah, he's an amazing creative, so I love to see what he has coming for him next.
Hell yeah.
New Line's 8-Bit Christmas will premiere exclusively on HBO Max November 25th in all countries that the service is available, meaning U.S. and Latin America, as we told you. 8-Bit Christmas stars Neil Patrick Harris himself and is a humorous and heartfelt look back at the adventures of childhood. Set in suburban Chicago in the late 80s, the story centers on a 10-year-old Jake Doyle's Herculean quest to get the latest and greatest video game system for Christmas. This sounds way better than Home Sweet Home Alone. I'm just saying. So let's just watch this shit and not that shit.
That's good. You had me at late 1980s, or Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Both of those are reasons to watch right there. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying. Holy shit! Did you guys catch Titans season 3? The first 3 episodes dropped, and damn,
It's so good.
it is so freaking good, y'all. Like the end of season 3, no spoilers, but you're gonna be like, what? They did that. That's all I'm gonna say. They did that. It's epic. It's off to a great start. Loved every character. I think Barbara Gordon is just fucking perfect. Nightwing is jacked. Like Starfire in the costume, just so damn good. One of the best parts about it, in my opinion, Scarecrow. I thought that Vincent Kartheiser did like a brilliant portrayal of him, but might be too good of a portrayal of him, apparently. He apparently was the subject of multiple investigations for his behavior on the set of season 3 of the series. So that's a little bit disturbing. According to an individual with knowledge of the situation, Kartheiser was first the subject of a complaint for what was described as disruptive juvenile behavior and making inappropriate comments on set. Now, Warner Brothers Television Labor Relations Department investigated and found that his actions didn't warrant him getting fired from the series, but he did get a corrective action. Then a second complaint apparently was made by somebody sometime later, which led Warner Brothers Television to assign a representative to keep an eye on the activities of what he was doing on set. Now, due to COVID protocols, the interviews were conducted virtually by Burbank-based investigators. Vincent, however, vehemently denies the allegations, and he said in a statement, Warner Brothers investigated this matter and made clear to Mr. Kartheiser its expectations for his behavior on set, and he agreed to comply with their directives.
There it is. There it is, man. I mean, it's very much a double-edged sword because, I mean, we don't know exactly what happened, just that some harassment occurred, possibly. But, I mean, with the storyline going forward, it looks like they're going to use Scarecrow in more of a, like, big dramatic way. So I feel like maybe they're just trying to keep an eye on this motherfucker so he doesn't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if something happened, I don't know, man. He just needs to get his shit together and apologize and own up his actions, because that's what helps people move forward at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you know, he's famous for Mad Men, you guys know, and he's married to Alexis Bledel, Rory, and just, I feel like he's never had an issue in the past, so I'm just wondering if this was all just a big misunderstanding. But you're right, even if it was a misunderstanding, I mean, he's playing a psychopath. Scarecrow's a psychopath. Yeah. Maybe he was just in character and going a little overboard with the character, right? But if that did make somebody feel uncomfortable, that is harassment. And like you said, own it. Just say, hey, maybe I got a little out of control. Maybe it wasn't funny. I'm sorry. Just own that and move up. But I'm hoping it was just a misunderstanding.
Agreed. We're human. We're not perfect. Everybody tries to freaking predict or like make themselves perfect, but we're not. We all make mistakes unintentionally. It's
I can
okay.
only imagine Heath Ledger, like, he never came out of character. Are you trying to tell me he never made somebody feel uncomfortable on set?
Well, exactly.
Like, I mean,
the whole thing with Jared Leto's portrayal of the Joker and like sending people dead rats and shit. Like, definition of harassment. So.
Yeah. I just think maybe he just went a little over the top with Scarecrow.
Exactly.
Agreed.
I don't know. HBO has ordered another season of Mike White's The White Lotus, a vicious, buzzy satire set at the Ornate Hawaiian Resort. According to HBO, its second installment will leave Hawaii, and it follows a different group of vacationers as they jet to another White Lotus property to settle in temporarily amongst its inhabitants. So, sounds very freaking interesting.
I've heard all kinds of things about this. It blows up on social media. Everybody's talking about it around town that I know about and everything. I haven't seen it. I know nothing about it, but apparently it's pretty popular.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, got to jump on board that one.
I guess so. Gonna have to check it out before it moves out of Hawaii to wherever the next White Lotus is. I have no idea. This one, I'm just gonna call it. Mark my words. Mark the date. Mark this show. I'm saying it. This project dead in the water, will not move forward after I tell you this news.
Completely
It's over,
agree.
done, out of there.
Completely agree.
The CW's Powerpuff live-action pilot has lost Chloe Bennett. She has exited the project, which she was set to star, as you guys know, as Blossom, opposite Dove Cameron and Yana Perot. Now, that's nothing against Dove Cameron and Yana Perot, but without Chloe Bennett, this thing is dead. Apparently, according to sources, they say she did not re-sign a new deal to stay with the project due to scheduling issues. Cameron and Perot will, however, stay on as the remaining Powerpuff Girls, but the search for a new Blossom will begin in the coming months. Other cast members, as you guys know, we've talked about this on the show. Donald Faison as Professor Drake, Utonium. Nicholas Podoni as the show's version of villain Mojo Jojo. And Mondale Jr. as and Robin Lively as Sarah Bellum. They're apparently all currently in ongoing talks to come back and re-sign new stuff. Now, the reason that they had to re-sign new stuff, guys, if you're confused by all this, remember, they didn't like the pilot, and so they had to go back and they're reworking and reshooting the pilot. The problem is that their commitments to the actors expired. So in order to go back and continue to shoot this thing again, they need to re-sign the actors. I have a theory about this with Chloe Bennett, though.
Yeah.
I think the scheduling conflict that she's referring to is, I think she's doing a Marvel project. It's long been in the works, I think, and she keeps denying it, but she has made it perfectly clear that if they ever wanted Quake back, she would go. And long has been the rumor that she would be making an appearance in Miss Marvel. And I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And she chose to go where her bread was buttered.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, I just think all of these freaking contracts are going to run out yet again, and these projects, or these actors need to work. So, I mean, they're all going to move on from this thing, which probably wasn't going to be good in the first place. So, I mean, kudos to Chloe Bennett for, choosing, in my opinion, the right decision. Because, like I said, this concept is so stupid.
Yes,
so
stick with Marvel.
Exactly.
Always stick with Marvel.
I'm so excited about this next one, though. We're heading over to Viacom CBS because hot off his starring role in The Suicide Squad, Idris Elba has joined the cast of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as the voice of Knuckles. Now, Sonic's nemesis turned friend, the characters first appeared as an antagonist back in 1994's Sega video game Sonic the Hedgehog 3, tricked by the evil Dr. Robotnik and turned into Sonic's enemy. Now, he becomes a playable character in the follow-up game Sonic and Knuckles, released later the same year. Knuckles ultimately realized who the real bad guy is and switches side. Knuckles is a badass character. If you didn't play any of the games, this guy is fucking so cool. And he's red, which is my favorite color. So, I mean, of course. But, I mean, Idris Elba, this guy is slowly but surely, coming up on my favorite actors list because, I mean, he is so good.
Yeah, and he's diverse. The role, I mean, to go from, Bloodsport to Knuckles, that's a huge...
Agreed.
I mean, that's what you got to do, though, man. That's what you got to do. Speaking of diverse, Oscar nominee Jackie Earle Haley and Tony nominee Maria Diza and Jeremy Bobb are all set for recurring roles on, I bet you can figure this one out, The First Lady, because everybody is joining this project.
Exactly.
It's just so crazy. Haley will play Louis McHenry Howe, a former reporter for the New York Herald who spent the majority of his political life serving as political advisor to FDR, resulting in running FDR's landslide 1932 presidential victory campaign. Dizia will portray Lucy Mercer. Now, this one's an interesting, guys. Lucy Mercer Rutherford, Eleanor Roosevelt's dear friend and social secretary who had an affair with FDR and was a turning point in Eleanor's life. Yeah, that's going to be juicy. Bob will play Theodore Roosevelt. Yes, Teddy himself, the other President Roosevelt, the progressive 26th President of the United States, and Eleanor's uncle. So that's going to be really interesting.
Agreed,
I
man,
can't believe they're doing the affair thing, but go.
Right? I know, right? And I mean, I just have to put this out there. I have to ask, why are men who were from this era all assholes and douchebags? They basically all cheated on their wives. It's super fucked up. So what is up with that?
I don't know, because Eleanor Roosevelt, too, was the most solid woman, stand behind your man and do when he got polo and couldn't, I mean, she was basically everything that held him up and kept him going. And you going to cheat on her?
He got Marco. You said polo. Polio?
Polio, yeah, polio.
Marco Polo.
Marco Polio, polio.
Yeah, there it is. But
it's just crazy, though, right? Yeah. Like, I don't even know.
It's really weird, man. Really weird. Even with Kennedy and Jackie. Like, I mean, I understand it's Marilyn Monroe, but come on now. Jackie was beautiful. So, I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. And plus, you had children. There's no point. And Nickelodeon is extending its 3-series SpongeBob SquarePants franchise with a combined order for 52 new episodes, which includes a Camp Coral Season 2 renewal, which apparently is doing really well on Paramount+. The pickup is comprised of a 13-episode Season 13 backorder of the original SpongeBob SquarePants series and 13 more episodes added to the first season and spin-off of The Patrick Star Show. Now, both on Nickelodeon as well as total of 26 episodes of CG animated prequel Camp Coral, SpongeBob's Under Years on Paramount+, a 13-episode Season 1 backorder, and the 13-episode Season 2 pickup. So they got a lot more stuff happening, and I'm honestly surprised because this is one of the longest-running kids shows of syndication for, like, it's been forever. It's been at least 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, but people love him.
Kudos.
I mean, good for SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Good for SpongeBob. Okay, let's jump over to NBC Universal. Andre Braugher has joined Universal's upcoming feature adaptation of New York Times bestseller She Said, about Pulitzer Prize winners Jodi Kantor and Megan Tohaney's investigative journalism into movie mogul Harvey Weinstein's history of sexual assault, which, of course, led to his conviction. Braugher joins previously announced cast members Carey Mulligan, Zoe Kazan, and Patricia Clarkson. That's a pretty epic cast, I'm just saying.
Right, and I mean, this story is still very hot because there's a lot of things happening with his court cases right now.
Yeah, he just got one of them thrown out, so he got at least one win. I mean,
exactly. Fuck, man. Universal Pictures will handle the distribution of Redeeming Love in U.S. and the Canadian theaters. Director DJ Caruso and film stars Abigail Cohen, Tom Lewis, Logan Marshall Green, Famke Janssen, and Nina Dobrev, and Eric Dane, my man Dr. Steamy, a love story that takes place against the backdrop of California Gold Rush in 1850. The film follows Angel, who was sold into prostitution as a child, who has served through hatred and self-loathing until she meets Michael Hosea, who discovers there is no brokenness that love can't handle. The film is slated for release in early 2022. You know what this kind of reminds me of? This reminds me of the first Young Guns with Kiefer Sutherland's character and that indigenous Asian girl's character. Like, I mean, basically sold kind of into prostitution, but we're going to get you out of it. So
that's an interesting analogy.
I mean, it's what comes to mind.
But I like it. I like it. And who doesn't love Young Guns? I mean, come on now. That's deep, man. Jen Statsky, you remember her? Has extended her overall deal with Universal Television. Now, you guys are thinking, why does that name sound familiar? Well, Statsky's the co-creator and co-showrunner and executive producer of the huge hit on HBO Max right now, Hacks. The series, which she created alongside collaborators Lucia Aniello and Paul W. Downs, recently earned 15 Emmy nominations and was renewed for a second season. You tend to get a second season when you get 15 Emmy nominations. I'm just saying. But that's not for Warner, though. She jumped and signed a big deal with Universal. Statsky signed her first overall deal with Universal Television in 2019 before Hacks, and she was an executive co-producer on NBC's The Good Place. Yeah, so there you go. Good for her, man.
Very freaking interesting.
This one's exciting.
I know. It's a hard not life, man. Titus Burgess has been cast as Sleazy Rooster in NBC's production of Annie Live. Rooster is the young brother of the main villain, Miss Hannigan, played by Taraji P. Henson.
So epic.
In this live holiday production of the classic musical, Rooster escapes from jail and plots with his gold-digging girlfriend, Lily, to ruin everyone's plans and get rich, while still making time to sing the famed Broadway number, Easy Street, along with Taraji P. Henson. Previously announced cast members include Harry Connick Jr. and the beloved businessman Daddy Warbucks and Nicole Schwarzenegger as Warbucks, and kid-loving Secretary Grace. Casting the title role, Orphan, has yet to be announced, though NBC held a virtual open audition for the role, hoping to find a future star to act and sing and dance alongside the celebrities in this production. What's the Zoom ID password? I'll audition.
For Annie?
Yeah.
Man, whoever it is going to have some serious singing chops if Daddy Warbucks is fucking Harry Connick Jr.
Agreed.
I'm just saying, look out. That's going to be fucking epic. Oh, my goodness. Fries the movie. Talk about epic. We all love Fries. Fries the movie, which is a documentary created by Anthony Bourdain's Emmy Award-winning production company 0.0 and Chrissy Teigen's Huntley Productions banner. Well, guess what? It debuted this week on the Peacock. The movie, which premiered earlier this year at the Tribeca Film Festival, is described as a lively exploration of what makes fries so ubiquitous and beloved throughout the world. Now, the documentary scours the globe, uncovering local flavors and untold stories from well-known chefs, celebrities, food scientists, and farmers, along with an eclectic mix of fry aficionados from all walks of life. Celebrities in the culinary landscape and beyond are featured throughout the documentary, including Teigen herself, in which she shares her fanatical love for the fried potato side dish.
Makes sense. Everybody loves fries.
I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, come on now. Oh, man. Peacock secured the streaming rights to the Howie Mandel documentary, But Enough About Me. The film that examines Mandel's long career in comedy and his long battle with the obsessive-compulsive disorder made the festival rounds this year. Directed by Barry Arvrich, Howie Mandel, but Enough About Me is available right now on the streaming service Peacock, so be sure to check it out. Oh, man, I mean, documentaries are huge right now. If everybody has watched Val, man, oh man.
Yeah, that one. I'm gonna check this one out though, because when obsessive compulsive disorder, this man is like seriously inflicted by it. Like he won't even shake hands or and how it progressed. I mean, he used to make jokes about sticking his hand under the toilet with shit on it, and now this guy won't even shake your hand.
Like,
so,
no,
I'm really curious to see how that progressed. I don't know. Billy Zane has joined the cast of Peacock's upcoming MacGruber series, along with Joseph Lee Anderson and Timothy V. Murphy. They joined previously announced series leads Will Forte, which of course plays MacGruber, and Ryan Phillippe, as well as cast members Sam Elliott and Lawrence Fishburne. Now Zane is taking over the role of Brigadier Commander Enos Queeth from Mickey Rourke in a recasting.
Very interesting. Wonder what he was doing.
Billy Zane and Mickey Rourke are so totally opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
That's an interesting recast.
It really is.
I mean,
it really is. Oh, man. Ryan Johnson and Natasha Lyonne's upcoming Peacock series, Poker Face, has set Nora and Lilia Zuckerman to serve as co-showrunners. The series received a 10-episode order at Peacock back in March. Johnson created the series and will also serve as a director and executive producer. Leone will star and serve as executive producer. Plot details are being kept under all the newspaper wraps, aside from the fact that the show is going to be an hour-long mystery series. So, they should bring the whole gang back. The whole Mystery Inc. I don't know.
Scoob?
Oh.
Well, at least bring Lady Gaga in and let her do Poker Face.
Exactly.
I mean, epic fail if you don't. I'm just saying. Hey, Pierre Outlar has drawn from her own experience as a physician assistant in the medical field for a comedy a comedy in the works at NBC. Pierre Outlar has teamed with The Daily Show correspondent Roy Wood Jr. on the Untitled series, which is in development right now. Pierre Outlar first started the project, then known as Rhonda Mitchell, MD, as a web series. The project focuses on an overbearing doctor after she takes over her father's Harlem-based practice and struggles to balance her personal and professional life while managing an irrelevant group of patients and coworkers.
Very interesting, right? Heading over to Sony, this one sucks, man, because I hope this doesn't start a trend with everything else in Hollywood. They have announced that the Venom theatrical release has been pushed back 3 weeks.
We just told you about it last week with a release date.
I know, with the trailer just dropping. It was set to open September 24th. Now it's going to premiere October 15th, like I said. 3 freaking weeks. That super freaking sucks because it's going to be an interesting fall release schedule. So, I don't know, man. The variant and the original just throwing everything off.
Everything off. I mean, including, they're also apparently exploring an alternative distribution for the upcoming animated feature Hotel Transylvania, Transformania. That's going to be the 4th one in that franchise. Oh my God, are they really on the 4th one? It was set to debut in theaters on October 1st, but as JLo just said, the Delta variant raises serious questions about the safety of children under 12 since there's no vaccine yet for that age group. So that one kind of makes sense to me. But what I'm really, really fearful for, guys, is if they announce that about Carnage and they're thinking about it for Hotel Transylvania, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yep.
Is that going to be delayed? Are we going to see a delay in that movie? Because that is going to piss a lot of people off if that's the case.
Exactly.
Because it will not show up on Disney Plus. It can't. Sony won't let it. It's only in theaters, and if that one gets delayed,
yeah, that one's going to really...
Because what's that going to do to fucking Doctor Strange or all of the ones coming after that?
I know, right? Sony has released the first trailer for Denzel Washington's romantic drama, A Journal for Jordan, star of the Michael B. Jordan. The film, directed by Washington, is based on the memoir, A Journal for Jordan, A Love Story and Honor. Now, the Pulitzer Prize journalist Dana Kendi, it follows a real-life story of the first sergeant, Charles Monroe King, played by Jordan, who writes letters to his newborn, also named Jordan, while he's overseas. King was killed in Iraq back in 2006 when his son was just 7 months old. But his wife keeps all of the letters in a book for their son, so it's kind of begotten like a story that way. A tearjerker, man. That's what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, and the mom there, the lead, the wife, and a newcomer, brand new newcomer. So man, to be a newcomer and star opposite Michael B. Jordan and get directed by Denzel Washington. Way to start the career.
Yeah, right.
I mean, shit. Good for you, man. This next one pisses me off, and I just agree with what you said last week. If this is going to be the case, just fucking end it. Just stop. This is a disgrace to Alex Trebek, in my opinion. Mike Richards has been confirmed as the permanent host of Jeopardy, taking the reins after producer Sony Pictures Television held a months-long process, bullshit, of on-air auditions to replace Alex Trebek. A game show veteran, Richards has also served as executive producer on Jeopardy since last year. Sony's decision to tap him as the permanent host has generated some talk in the industry about whether there was a true competition amongst the 15 other people that co-hosted the show over that period of time. Richards will continue in his role as executive producer of Jeopardy and its companion Wheel of Fortune, in addition to stepping in front of the camera. Now, also announced, Mayim Bialik, former star of The Big Bang Theory, has also been tapped to host a series of primetime Jeopardy specials and a potential spin-off series for the syndicated quiz show.
I think she would be more popular, more successful than he would.
Give
her the fucking part.
Yeah, I don't want either one of them. And this is horrible. Like, this guy, a game show veteran, yeah, and apparently getting harassing people and being sued when he was on The Price is Right. Just end it. Just end it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Completely agree. Now heading over to MGM, a group of 4 major labor unions representing almost 4 million workers is urging the Federal Trade Commission to block Amazon's proposed acquisition of MGM. In a 12-page letter sent this week to the FTC, the union's Strategic Organizing Center argued Amazon's $8.45 billion takeover of MGM should be blocked to prevent Amazon from amassing more power in the entertainment industry and exploiting that through the anti-competitive business practices. What?
Why now?
Yeah.
There's been so many huge mergers prior to this one. Why aren't you suing them to stop those? Like, what's the beef with Amazon or MGM? Like, they've clearly got a beef with one of those companies because they're wanting to stop this thing.
I feel like this is nothing compared to Disney and Time Warner.
Yeah,
This is nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
Because MGM is not as big as it once was, and Fox and Disney were huge at the time of their, like, fucking, oh man, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no. And Warner getting ready to spin off, and form with Discovery from AT&T. Why aren't you blocking that one? Like, yeah, this is weird. We're going to keep an eye on this one because something shady going on with that. Lionsgate. Lionsgate has closed a deal for Clancy Brown to star opposite Keanu Reeves, Donnie Yen, Hiroki Sanada, and the gang in John Wick Chapter 4. No details yet as to who Clancy will play, because they like to keep that stuff under wraps. But this one's getting quite the cast for John Wick 4.
Agreed.
I mean, I know you're a huge fan of those. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how this one does.
Yes, and in previous story, I meant to say Fox, 20th Century Fox, not Time Warner. So.
Well, no, but it still made sense because Time Warner was a merger with AT&T. And yeah. So you could have been balancing both,
Yeah,
The Disney merger, the Time Warner merger.
But now you all know. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom actress Daniela Pinda and Mulan actor Yosun Anis are the latest to join Gerard Butler's crew and Lionsgate action thriller The Plane. What's his face there? Daniela will play Bonnie, a professional and formidable head flight attendant, and Anne will play Dell, the first officer in an ill-fated flight. Cameras are set to roll in Puerto Rico later this month. So,
This is another one where it seems like every week we've got new people joining that plane.
Yes.
They're casting a lot of people for this shit. Do they not think Gerard can carry the film on his own? Like,
right.
What the fuck? Come on. Good Trouble star Sherry Cola is joining the cast of Adele Lim's upcoming R-rated comedy about a group of 4 friends traveling through Asia in search of one of their birth mothers. Now, Cola will appear opposite Ashley Park from Emily in Paris as one of the film's main leads. The movie, which is being produced by Lionsgate, Mark Lim's directorial debut. The comedy, which has been greenlit and fast-tracked for production, is expected to start shooting this fall. Yeah, wow, that is fast.
Right?
Okay.
Like shit. And Judith Light is set for a key opposite role of Monica, a.k.a. Courtney Cox, and stars a horror comedy series, Shining Veil. The Gail Keener and Marina Sorvino also star in this series. Shining Veil follows a dysfunctional family that moves from the city to a small town into a house which has terrible fucking backstories that have taken place there.
Oh.
But no one seems to notice except Patricia Pat Phelps, who is played by Monica Cox herself, who's convinced she's either depressed or possessed. Turns out symptoms are the exact same, so how the fuck do we know what's going on in real life? Yeah.
So depression and possession, the symptoms are the same?
Yeah, right?
What?
I know.
Oh, that
Shit.
sounds creepy. Okay. Well, but she's going to do well. Courtney Cox will do really well in that. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Netflix. We're going over to Netflix, and they've got some legal trouble brewing, because, they like to compete with Disney, and they're like, oh, you got a lawsuit? Hey, we've got a lawsuit. I'm just saying. A judge apparently ruled on Monday that former prosecutor Linda Fairstein has a plausible claim that she was defamed by When They See Us, the Netflix series from Ava DuVernay about the Central Park 5 case. Fairstein sued Netflix and DuVernay and writer Atisha Locke back in March of 2020, alleging that the 4-part series portrayed her as a racist, unethical villain who framed 5 young men for a brutal rape and beating. Netflix had argued that the show was protected by the First Amendment. In seeking to throw out the suit, the streamer argued that the filmmakers are allowed to use some dramatic portrayal of Fairstein that was substantially true. However, U.S. District Judge Kevin Castill held that the show had depicted Fairstein in a way that could be defamatory in 5 scenes, saying, quote, the average viewer could conclude that these scenes have a basis in fact and do not merely reflect the creator's opinions about the controversial historical events. Uh-oh.
Right.
So this is because depending on how this case rules, that's going to be tough for creators who want to write about real people.
Real life shit.
You know, can you get creative and add a little drama to it? Or are you going to be told it's straight as how it was, or you can't do it at all?
Yeah.
Because, this could potentially be big.
Exactly. Well, Catherine Zeta-Jones will play Morticia in the upcoming Wednesday Addams series at Netflix. Zeta-Jones will appear in a guest star role as the iconic Addams of the matriarch in the series, titled Wednesday. Now, she joins previously announced cast members Zena Ortega, Luis Guzman. Ortega will star as Wednesday, while Guzman will play Gomez Addams, Morticia's husband. So,
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I'm really excited about this one and really sad at the same time. It's a wave of emotion. Lucifer, yep. Netflix released the trailer for the 6th and final season of Lucifer. The end of season 5, as you guys know, saw Lucifer almost becoming God. He did, but he's not sure he wants to, so that's why it's almost becoming God. Season 6 will follow the Lord of Hell, as the world unravels, with a god, without a god, because he's not sure he wants to sit on the throne. Lucifer also stars Lauren German, Kevin Alejandro, D.B. Woodside, Leslie Ann Brandt, Scarlett Estevez, and Rachel Harris. I love the tagline, too. It says, all bad things must come to an end. Do we want him to be God? We don't want Lucifer's ending to be that he actually becomes God. I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm just devastated, man. I want this show to go on forever.
Oh,
okay,
man.
I'm done.
Netflix has also released a trailer for Clickbait, which premieres August 25th. An 8-episode limited series follows a mystery that unfurls around Nick Brewer, who's played by Adrian Grenier. What's his face from Entourage?
Yes, Vinny.
Who appears to be a loving father, husband, and brother, but who one day turns up on the internet, clearly kidnapped, and holding a sign that says, "I abuse women." At 5 million viewers, I die. Not knowing whether this is a threat or a true confession, Nick's sister, Pia, who is played by Zoe Kazan, and his wife, Sophie, tried to race against the clock to find him and save him, which each episode is told from a different character's perspective. And the series will also star Jessica Collins, Cameron Ingalls, Jalen Fletcher, Motel Glenn Foster, Danielle Henshaw, Abraham Lim, Ian Meadows, and Phoenix Wright. So that's a lot happening.
That sounds really intense, though. So did he do it, and is one of his victims the person who kidnapped him, or somebody related to one of the victims, or like the thing says, did he not do it, and this is just some sort of scam, and like that's some intense shit.
It really is.
Good for Vinny, man. All right. I love him. He's a great actor, and he's all over the map.
Exactly.
So.
Go on the Victory podcast, bro. They keep talking about how you won't go on, but do it.
I know. Why won't you go on?
I don't.
Come on, man. If you won't do that, come on our podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We love you. Hallmark movies, whatever you're choosing to do, this crazy movie, just come talk to us.
Exactly.
Victoria Justice and Adam Dermos have signed on to star in the untitled romantic comedy, which Stuart McDonald is directing for Netflix. The film will center on a hard-driving LA wine company exec, well, you got me right there, who travels to an Australian sheep station to land a major client. There, she ends up working as a ranch hand and sparkling with a rugged local. Aww. Victoria Justice is going to sparkle with a rugged local over wine and sheep.
I've been wondering where she's been. I mean, ever since whatever the fuck that was, Victorious or whatever it was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
She kind of dropped off. So
she did. She looks a little different.
Yeah. So coming back in an adult role, I think is good. I mean, rebound her career, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of, I just want to throw this out there because they had little crossovers and everything, and I haven't watched it yet, but apparently on one of the latest episodes of iCarly, it was taking some oh shit on the internet because a threesome was involved.
Oh.
What?
I mean,
what?
They were adult.
They were. I mean, I know they're growing up, but what? Okay, all right. I'm curious to see who was involved in the threesome. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. The Avatar, The Last Airbender, the live-action series at Netflix, has found its 4 series leads.
Oh.
Jordan Cormier, Kawatiano, Ian Osley, and Dallas Liu have all joined the cast. Cormier will play Aang. Coentio will play Katara, Osley will play Sokka, and Liu will play Zuko. In addition, the Netflix confirmed that Albert Kim has boarded the show to serve as writer, executive producer, and showrunner. Kim previously worked on shows like Sleepy Hollow, Deadly Class, and Nitika, or Nikitia,
or Nikita.
Narkita. Either one of those three.
I mean,
So
she was a spy, so it could have been all of those names.
Exactly.
We don't know.
I'm very excited about this, though, because this one's been long rumored and finally have a cast attached. I mean, it means things are moving forward.
I just hope it's better than the last live action attempt.
Oh, yeah, for
Right?
sure.
I'm just saying. Daniel Sunjata. Sunjata. I'm just kidding. Daniel Sunjata is the latest to join the cast of Netflix's psychological thriller limited series Echoes. He is set to play. I love this one. This is the fun one that we were talking about before. He's set as a lead opposite Michelle Monaghan and Matt Bomer in the mystery thriller about the identical twins Lenny and Gina, both portrayed by Monaghan, who share a dangerous secret. Sunjata will play Gina's husband, Charlie Davenport, the quintessential Los Angeles psychotherapist. He's empathetic, charismatic, and an intellect to match married to Gina. He finds himself caught in the undertow of her deep connection to twin Lenny, but he has a hidden dimension as well. We were just talking about like what's going on with the other husband, so there you go.
All right. This next one's super interesting and makes sense. Netflix is putting together all these big powerhouses. Power show runner and creator, writer, producer Courtney A. Kemp has entered in a multi-year Dear Creative partnership with Netflix. Through the overall deal, she will develop her projects via her production banner. End of the episode. The company's development and support teams, as well as president Chris Selleck, will join in the move to Netflix. Selleck will continue her role and lead the company alongside Kemp. The partner enables Kemp, end of the episode, to expand its global footprint while focusing on putting the spotlight on stories for women, BIPOC, and LGBTQ creators. So that's very freaking important. So I'm happy for it.
Yeah, and I know everybody's excited about this one. We've been talking about this one for a bit, but now we have a premiere date for it. Colin in Black and White, Netflix's upcoming series chronicling the coming-of-age story of football player and activist Colin Kaepernick, is set to premiere October 29th. The streamer also released several first-look images from the 6-episode limited series co-created by Kaepernick and, of course, Ava DuVernay. I wonder how that lawsuit's going to affect that.
Right.
Starring Jaden Michael as a young Kaepernick, the show tells the story of how the athlete's formative years, focusing on how he navigated obstacles of race, culture, and class as a black child adopted into a white family. Nick Offerman and Mary Louise Parker play Kaepernick's adoptive parents, Rick and Teresa Kaepernick. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good story to tell.
I think so too.
Heading over to Amazon, in a competition or a competitive situation, Amazon Studios has landed the rights to the pitch Coyote Blue. The action film will be written by Derek Costin and screenwriter behind John Wick and Nobody, with This Is Us Emmy winner Sterling K. Brown attached to star. Henley M. Chapek from Star Trek Picard will make her feature directorial debut. The story revolves around an everyday man who's hunted by a ruthless criminal syndicate for his mysterious cargo, and now must navigate the treacherous terrain of Route 66 while unleashing his lethal set of skills for the fight of survival.
Wait, are we sure Liam Neeson doesn't star in this one?
Yeah, right.
He's got a particular set of skills, I'm just saying. This one sounds interesting, too. Amazon Studios and Kaling International are developing Uzma Junalun's novel Hana Khan Carries On as a film. The story puts a modern Muslim spin on a premise first made famous by Ernst Lubsch's classic The Shop Around the Corner, which of course was later turned and updated with Nora Ephron's You've Got Mail. The novel follows two competing halal shops. Hana's family, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, Hanna's family owns a restaurant called Three Sisters in the Golden Crescent neighborhood of Toronto, and its business is threatened when a more commercial, fusion-based eatery comes into town down the street. The catch is that Hanna and the owner of the other restaurant, Aiden, have an instant romantic connection. Sahar Jahani will write the script, while Mindy Kaling and Jessica Kumani Scott will produce. So there you go.
Very exciting, man. And another one Amazon is super excited about. They announced this week that I Know What You Did Last Summer will premiere its first 4 episodes on October 15th, and an additional 4 will drop weekly through November 12th. So I know that one is super anticipated. So we shall see how it goes.
Yeah, and I'm hoping, again, we see some of the originals make appearances in it. I don't know, but, it always helps. Jumping to Apple. You know him, you love him. We just talked about him last week in our top 5. He's so great. Tom Hanks' latest film, Finch, will debut on Apple TV on November 5th. Now, in the film directed by Miguel Shepernik, the Oscar winner plays a robotics engineer of the same name who is among the few survivors of a cataclysmic, I can't even speak today. What is wrong with me? Solar event. While the event left the world a wasteland, Finch has built a world of his own in the time since, which he shares with his beloved dog, Goodyear. Also living with Finch in the underground bunker is a robot, played by Caleb Landry Jones, that he's built to watch over Goodyear when he no longer can. Ultimately, the trio embarks on a road trip in a desolate American West, and while on this journey, Finch looks to show his creation, who has named himself Jeff, the joy and wonder that come with being alive. That sounds really interesting.
It really does.
It's Tom Hanks with a robot and a dog.
Exactly. Great cast. Good story. So definitely going to watch that one.
Yeah.
John Lithgow has joined the cast of Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, playing the role of a prosecutor. 2-time Oscar nominee joins the ensemble cast, which includes Leo, Bobby, and Jesse. So, this one's going to be huge. So, I just really hope the story's good. It sounds kind of weird. I'm not going to lie.
I know.
But I hope it's good.
And Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound kind of. But you got Encino Man joining, or Robot Man, whatever you want to refer to him. So,
Exactly.
It's going to be...
Exactly. But now it is time for our guest interview, guys. We got the one and only James Moses Black coming back on the show. Talk about everything he's been up to recently and talking about the pandemic and, of course, Lansky and so much more. This guy is everywhere, and you're going to hear his most embarrassing story, or it might be his most embarrassing film. So funny.
How many actors wish they had never done something?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to find out. This is a good one.
Exactly. Well, here he is.
James Moses Black, welcome back inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. Good to have you back. How you been?
Oh, man, good to be covered by Crazy Ants. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, man, we appreciate that. Well, we're excited to talk to you. You've been a busy guy. You've got a lot going on, man.
Yeah, man. The pandemic slowed me down a little bit, and I started doing a lot of voiceovers, but as soon as it lifted, I got a little busy. So,
Yep.
Yeah, man, keeping it busy, man.
Exactly. Just another day in paradise, man. Another day in freaking paradise. Well, we're happy you're at least staying busy because we know a lot of actors were out of work during the whole time. And, during the pandemic and during the shutdown, animation and voice acting was real hot. So I'm super happy to hear that for you.
Yeah, man. I did I did the voice for ESPN's NBA and college football.
Nice.
And I did a couple of the playoffs for ESPN, and then when the finals went to ABC, I don't know why it's weird, but that got cut off. So, yeah, it was good, man. It was good.
Well, good deal, man. Good deal. And then, like you said, once it all kind of lifted and everybody was able to get back in front of cameras and on sets and stuff again, you have been doing a bunch of stuff. And, boy, let me, diverse, right? Because it's a bunch of different things, man. You've got some sci-fi zombie stuff. You've got some drama gangster stuff. And you got a comedy. That's pretty diverse.
Yeah, that's pretty different, man. Listen, man, ain't no black people on the mob. And I said, you sure? And it's no. It's 1970, 71. We want you to be head of the Miami FBI.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, man. Ain't no black people head of the FBI in 1971, man. What are you talking about?
That's right.
Yeah, but I did it, man. It was cool.
Yeah, yeah, and for anybody not familiar, because it's a true story, obviously, you do play R.J. Campbell, the head of the strike force that went after him. Never did find that $300,000.
No. I was thinking about making my own expedition to try to find.
How do we know R.J. didn't have it the whole time? We don't know. Maybe,
Well, I didn't.
Oh, seriously though, it's a pretty intense movie. We recently talked to Cade, who played Bugsy, and it sounds intense, man. I love the premise of it being told from the old, Lansky kind of going back and recounting everything, and
right.
I mean, it's an interesting story. You cannot deny it. People in this country love mob stories, man.
They love mobsters, man. They love. I don't know. It was just. I think they're just enthralled with the whole. Mobsters were like for us a modern day sort of a star or some entertainer. Back in the day, mobsters were like they were the stars, man.
Exactly.
But,
I mean, even in the 80s, people were talking about what suit John Gotti was wearing when he was leaving like the courthouse, or like Al Capone back in the day, like all that good stuff. And I mean, even like Frank Lucas or Nicky Barnes, all those people, they're in the spotlight all
celebrities.
The time. Exactly.
Celebrities,
Hence the connection to Hollywood. I mean, look at it. Back in the day, they were all connected, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They were. I mean, you think about Frank Sinatra and how many people he was connected to.
That's
and
right.
Some of his crew was connected to him. And Howard Hughes was connected to him. They were celebrities, man. So
that's right.
That's the reason.
Look at you bringing up the connection with Hughes now, getting all crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love people that know history, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that one's out. People can watch that one right now, right? And then now you've got let's jump into zombies. We're gonna go from gangsters to zombies, which is very interesting because it's streaming on Amazon Prime right now. We're of course talking about SOZ, Soldados o Zombies. Which, by the way, for anybody worrying, it's in English. It is in English. This is an interesting premise as well, man.
Yeah, man. It starts off with a cartel cat getting away from the Mexican policia, and the Americans conducting an experiment about the ultimate soldiers. And these are not like your regular, Walking Dead zombies. These zombies created, and they still have all that cognitive skill. Of chasing, thinking, all this other stuff. So it's like, these are like monsters, but I specifically want to turn them into a fighting machine. So it is, right. And it's so crazy, man. They let me run crazy, which is sometimes good. And then sometimes you have to pull me back in. But, it was like I discovered like gold with the zombies. And so I was in charge of, making the gold and putting it out there to sell. But, of course, with zombies and gold, it goes wrong sometimes. So I had to cap one of them,
Yeah,
I had to cap one of them, so.
Exactly. I think, like, the horror genre / like zombie premise will always be hot. Somebody is always going to be interested in that type of genre. So I mean, to strike on something like that, especially when people are at home just ready to watch new content, especially something like this that really hasn't been touched on a lot. So I mean, talk about that. What is that like to be kind of like in this new realm?
Well, wait till they come. This is the one they're going to come out with. Zombies versus aliens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's coming.
That's coming, man. But it's kind of like, they said when they're like, well, James, in season 3, we're going to make you a zombie. And I said, listen, in season 3, I quit. So,
That's right.
Let's be transparent with each other. So.
There you go. I love it.
But it's a new type of, it's not your typical, zombie, but it's like a thriller, it's horror, and it's a ton of action, like crazy action, man. And it's being released in like 204 countries, so I'm gonna be a star somewhere.
Right? Yeah, come on now, you're already a star, But it's like Logan said, because and you bring up a very good point that it's not like The Walking Dead, right? Because The Walking Dead's well over a decade in, and that's why I think zombies continue to keep working, because people keep coming up with new ways to present zombies to the public, right? right? So
Right,
as long
right.
as they can keep doing that, it's still gonna work. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So Colonel Murdoch's a badass, right? He's gonna be busting
Yeah,
some
pretty.
caps, but not turning into
Yeah,
zombie.
yeah. I am the ultimate. You remember Jack Nicholson and A Few Good Men?
Yeah,
How how crazy he was, but he didn't act real crazy
that's
till he
right.
got on the stand. I act berserko, you know, all the way through. But it's subtle berserko stuff. But I am, the character that I developed is not a subtle dude.
Okay.
There's no subtleness about Colonel Murdoch. You know.
Did you have a lot of leeway to? You said they let you run
Oh
loose.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
did a lot of ad lib and a lot of improvising with the character.
yeah. I did because it's just for instance, you'll see one of the zombies gets popped, and I'm trying to convince that zombie to come out the house, right? So
Hmm.
he comes out the house, and they pop him, and so I scream to the people behind, "Oh, dude, whatever, whatever," and then I get back on the microphone or whatever megaphone. And I said, "Listen, that was an accident." You know? It's like, that was hilarious. That's like you trying to get the zombies to come out and you pop one and say it's an accident.
Oops. Yeah.
Right, that's so
Sorry.
great. And I mean, what was your
Yeah.
process like? Did you kind of come up with your own backstory for this character, or was that given to you in the
Nah,
beginning
man.
stages?
If you look at my resume, I've always, my first of all, my father was 23 years in the Navy. Second, I used to live with a commander, right?
Right.
Yeah, I used to live with a commander. So most of my roles that I played, army officials or just people of sort of that power.
Hmm.
Right.
It just came naturally. You know what I mean? It just came naturally. Just to wield that type of power over people who were, that their responsibility is to be loyal.
Right.
So no matter what I say, loyal. And
Exactly.
and so it wasn't that hard, man. It was just I just took my personality to another level. Because it's inside of us. Whether we do it or not is another thing. But we all have the propensity to do anything out there. The only thing that holds us back is probably morals and integrity. But everything else, man, we could do anything we want. And that's how I feel about acting. I just have to have the page to tell me to do it.
Right. I
You
mean,
know.
yeah. And anybody who
So
knows you, it makes sense that those are the type of roles too, because anybody that knows you or has seen you, you're a rather imposing individual. I mean, so
right, especially if I don't smile.
that's right.
Like,
That's
oh,
right,
this is
man.
a serious motherfucker.
It's like, oh
shit.
shit, I ain't messing with that.
Nah, I ain't nowhere near him.
Which
And then I'm
even
like,
more so. No, go ahead.
I take 2 scoops of the ice cream, please. It's
Right.
that is done rob the joint.
Even more so,
Yeah.
why that little twist on This Is Us, where you play the preacher, was pretty funny. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
I mean,
When I did that, man, I was like, listen, Sterling, don't start crying in the middle of the scene. Bro. Come on, bro. I ain't gonna cry with you.
Right.
Don't
This
start
ain't that.
crying.
This ain't that.
It's a pie, bro. It's a pie.
oh, goodness, man.
Yeah.
But see this natural humor that you have, right? You're a funny guy, and so it only makes sense that they got to get you into some comedies too, right?
Yeah, I did a comedy that's it's weirdly listed on IMDb, but doesn't come out until September.
Right.
It's called Liza on Demand.
Okay.
It's a YouTube bridge show. I guess they have a network, whatever.
Hmm.
And so now they're in the process. I've been on 3 seasons,
Oh, okay.
and they had to beg me to do the show, and I was like, listen, man, I don't want to do no daggone comedy, especially not no stupid comedy. But once I got to the show, she was funny. So the fact that she was funny,
Right.
it made it a better situation. 'Cause,
Mhm.
yeah, if you're funny, oh, okay, you're funny. Okay, good. Oh my gosh, she's funny. And we just started vibing. And of course, I'm funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm funny. You think you funny. Okay,
That's right.
you wait and see this. So I had a good time, man. I had a good time.
Well,
So,
good.
yeah, they the 2 directors, James, why don't you do more comedy? I said, why don't you put me on the show permanently?
Right.
No, and then said, "I'm serious."
Exactly.
I'm serious. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
You
I'm
can't
serious.
tell. You can't tell. And I
Right,
mean, with
right.
it being like a YouTube show and with their platform being so new, what was
Right.
like are the contractual negotiations and everything similar to like everything else you've done in the past, like with This Is Us and NBC and things like that?
Yeah, it was all. I had 1 day contracts.
Mm-hmm.
It was during just as they started lifting COVID back in April.
Yeah.
So originally it started off as one price, and then they had to move me to the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And once you move me to the weekend, it costs you more.
Right, exactly. Come on now.
I was like, wow, this is a nice little payday.
Yeah, I was just.
Because at the end of the day, man, listen, it's like I'm supporting myself, and I think that's the genius in doing what I do is I get the support. I'm not starving,
Yeah.
And I'm not a millionaire or anything like that, but I'm supporting myself, and I think that's the sustaining thing for me.
Exactly. That's the important part. And I was just curious because, we're in the midst of the streaming wars, and basically you got HBO Max, Peacock, Disney Plus, Hulu, all these freaking places that are striving for content. So, I mean, as an actor, I'm sure you're just excited and everybody's chomping at the bits to have you because, like you said, you're a funny guy and an amazing person to have on set. So, I mean, what's that like with all these streaming platforms coming out? Are you excited for future projects that you possibly haven't touched on before or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm always down to, work with some different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a couple projects that I'm trying to put out as a writer.
Nice.
So it's always cool to do a different show. And again, if you look at the resume, it's not one-dimensional.
Right,
you don't
absolutely.
see me doing a bunch of comedies, or you don't see me doing, too many cop things. It's, I try to do a lot of different things because the world is a lot of different things.
Exactly.
So, I enjoy doing, the multiple characters and multiple roles. It just makes it makes it more easy when they say, "Can you do this?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did it. I can do that. I do it every day.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I love having you on the show, man, because you're so versatile and like not afraid to try shit. Because like we told you before, this podcast is geared towards the up and comers trying to break into the entertainment industry, and that's definitely a piece of advice that they should take. Don't be afraid to try something, even if it's out of your comfort zone, because once you get out of there, that's when some amazing shit can happen.
Right.
If
you quit, you'll never know what it was going to be like.
Exactly.
Right? If you quit. So
that's good. That's a T-shirt. Yeah, make that into a T-shirt.
Exactly. Trademark.
That's right. Okay, so we got another one because how can we not mention this one? Queen Pins. You play a defense attorney. Yeah. That's Kristen Bell and Vince Vaughn. That must have been interesting.
Yeah, Joel McHale?
Yeah, Joel McHale. Yep.
Joel McHale, Vince Vaughn, Kristen Bell. There was the guy who played in that Atlanta movie with the bomber. He was in there.
That's right.
Danny, who I did another project. I did one of those Arnold Schwarzenegger movies with Danny or Daniel, whatever his name was. And yeah, man, it was cool, man. I love Vince Vaughn, man. I love Vince Vaughn. I love Kristen Bell. I was her attorney, and it's funny, man. When we were doing the scene, so there were two scenes. The first scene was pretty much the opening argument, and then the second scene was it was all improv.
Right.
So I had the opening. I had to do a closing statement, and so I improv the whole closing statement. They let me improv the whole closing statement.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, they really must know that I
Right.
don't know what I'm doing. So I did it, and so we did two takes, and they cut, and then Vince Vaughn came up to me, he had a brief little, a little delay. He said, "Hey, man, are you really an attorney, dude?" I was like, "No, dude, I slept at a Holiday Inn Express last night."
Right. That's great.
That's fantastic. So I'm guessing it was a pretty effective closing argument.
Yeah, man. Listen, I didn't watch every lawyer show that's possible on TV. Judge Judy, Judge Mackey. I didn't watch them all, man. Judge Joe Brown. I didn't watch them all, man. I didn't watch every law show there is. L.A. Law.
That's right.
Whatever. Nashville. So I know what their temperament is. I know what they do. So I just started talking about the Constitution and why the court was created. It had nothing to do with the scene, but I was like, oh, this is a good topic.
There you
That's
go.
awesome, man.
I started to say, one of them. I started to say, if the glove don't fit.
Oh
shit.
yeah. Uh-oh.
Don't,
Went
don't
all
say that,
Johnny
James.
Cochran
Don't say
on
that.
us.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. I was gonna do it, but I was like, nah.
Oh my goodness.
I might get in trouble.
That's so great, man. That's so great. And I mean, I'm just curious, with you being such a all over the map type of guy with the type of roles you play, so what type of like movies and shows do you watch like on your free time? What's your favorite type of genre?
Sports Center.
There you go. You just try to get away from it
That's
all.
right. That's right. No.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep me fresh, So I don't I just watch I try not to watch too much new TV because some of it's really bad, man.
Yeah.
And so my practice is the world. Where I really hone my skills is just being a good person and having the effects of being a good person when something happens bad. Try not to take it bad.
Mm.
But now if I have to take it bad, what is that experience like, and how is it relatable to once I get in front of the camera?
Right.
So I cut completely loose when I'm in front of the camera because there is a part of my personality and a part of myself that has a big treasure chest of life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I have a big treasure chest of life. So I have life experiences in there. So once one of those things are tapped, they come out like it's normal.
Nice.
It's come out. So I don't watch. I do listen a lot to actors. Like I listened to an interview with Harvey Keitel, and when he was talking, because he's a tremendous actor.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about purpose and having things stored up, and yourself as a person. And then Robert Duvall, I listened to him when Colbert was interviewing him, and he talked about, just letting the script guide you. You don't have to invent. The funniest thing actors say to me sometimes, not experience with new actors, they said, oh, so what would the character do? And I go, who are you talking about? That person doesn't exist yet.
Right.
What would the character do? Who are you talking to? You're the person that's supposed to invent them. An invisible person can't invent you.
Yep.
So that's my point. It's like you have to use the things that are inside you to create things according to what's on the paper.
Absolutely.
So and a lot of people, I think that's the biggest challenge for a lot of actors, a lot of new actors. They don't trust their own experiences.
That's solid right there. That's real solid. Well, okay, so you've got a treasure chest of life experiences. You're a funny guy. You bring it all to. So there's got to be at some point along this career of yours an embarrassing moment. What is the most embarrassing moment that you've had on set, man? That you just were like, I can't believe this happened to me, but you're okay now with it.
I have 3 words. Joe Dirt 2.
Oh shit. Oh shit, gotta go back and watch.
Yeah, dude. Oh my goodness, bro. That is one where I just totally regret. But they say you get one.
Yeah.
Joe Dirt 2 is one.
So your embarrassing moment is a whole film.
It's
like my whole appearance. Fair
enough.
enough.
Whole being on that movie was an embarrassment, especially when David Spade was reading off a cue card.
Oh shit! Oh man!
And I go like, can I do that too?
Right.
But it was the most ridiculous. I mean, man, I was like, please cut me out of the movie. Please cut me out of the movie.
The one and only time an actor's like, please let me end up on the cutting room floor, right?
I was hoping the movie would go straight to audio.
Right.
It's just like that's how bad it was. Man. I was like, oh man, this needs to be an audio book.
Right, Joe Dirt the podcast or fucking, come on.
Right. That's it. That's the first thing that comes to my mind is Joe Dirt 2.
Enough said.
That is hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, man, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and I mean, you always pass on like the best pieces of advice, especially for up and comers trying to break into it, because you just have like this such good energy around you, and the way you talk about the entertainment industry and just life in general, man. It's always a humbling experience to have you back on and just talk, man.
I appreciate it, man. I was created by God, so that's the strength, brother. So
That's
It's
it.
just a pleasure to talk, to talk to guys like yourselves who, ask some good questions, man, and ask questions not because of sensation, but some good questions that'll help people and understand, what actors go through and what's possible. Because I never talk about things that aren't possible.
That's right.
And you guys always bring that out, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
We really appreciate you saying that, man. We strive to try to do that, and it's nice to be recognized, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, listen, as always, open invite because you are a busy man, and we know at some point you will have something else to talk about. And even if not, you just come back and we'll just talk, man, because you're the laughter is infectious. We'll talk sports. I mean, come on, we know what you watch, man. There's so many. Yeah,
man.
dude.
We just got it.
I
Who's
would
your
love
team?
that.
Who's your team?
Wow, who's my team? Well, I wanted Chris Paul to win.
Yeah,
too.
us
Me
too.
too.
Yeah.
I did, but Phoenix wasn't my team. But I just wanted to do the win, man.
It was hard for
And he
anybody
did.
not to, right? I mean, come on.
Right? Yeah. And then he won. He signed what is he? 36. He signed a 4-year deal for $100 and something million.
Yeah, exactly.
He won.
Oh yeah, we definitely have to talk sports with you.
Yeah, we gotta talk because I like to introduce different characters in sports. And, I know I can do this. I mean, Chris Paul, shoot the ball, Chris Paul, shoot the ball. I can't believe it, Chris Paul.
Okay, all right. Now I'm just envisioning we'll do a Zoom and we'll watch some sporting event live with you, man, and we'll just have a blast with that,
man.
bro.
Oh, just have a blast, man.
Seriously, man, we're so pumped to have you back on, and thanks so much. And just
appreciate you guys.
Open invite, and dude, take care. We'll be in touch soon, and just God bless, man.
All right, you too, both of you, man. Thanks for the view.
Yep.
Of course.
All
We'll
right,
talk to you later. Bye.
All right, man.
So good, man. So good. Every time he comes back on, like I told him, I mean, he's just he radiates that positive energy.
He really does, and that laugh, man, is infectious. He looks like such a seriously imposing, all-the-time serious dude, but he's got to be one of the funniest people we know.
Exactly,
I mean, it's fantastic.
exactly. And I mean, out of our 120-something, 110-something guests, he is only part of that handful that bounces around from different genres and not afraid to take risks and not afraid to be yeah, that movie shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I love actors who can come on, or anybody in the industry, directors, whatever, that can own that and go, yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen.
Exactly. He's so great, man. So great. Thank you again, James, for coming on the show. All right, it's time for the top 5. It's time. You probably think I'm thinking of Batman, but I'm not. I'm not interpreting Batman. I'm talking about Clint Eastwood. That's right. Top 5 Clint Eastwood films. And man, I had to do my studying for this one.
I did not, because I'm old,
Yes.
as we point out every week on the show. It's funny that you did that, though, and compared the because for the longest time, after Batman Beyond first came out, and it was such a huge hit, and everybody was loving it, wanted to see a live action, Clint Eastwood was the name that was consistently dropped as the old Bruce Wayne that was mentoring.
Really?
Yeah, so
Very interesting.
it's interesting that you would bring that up.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, if you guys follow me, you guys know I was watching Clint Eastwood movies all freaking week just to get ready for this top 5. But I'm excited, though. I'm excited. It was definitely worth it because there was a lot of good shit, man. A lot of good shit. I like all these movies now. The number 5 for me is The Bridges of Madison County. Man, oh man. I mean, this one could have went on my Meryl Streep ones now. But next time. I can't wait, though. Because this one, I mean, classic love story, obviously. But like I said when we were talking about FDR, why do people cheat? Why do people from this time period cheat? But,
I got nothing to say.
Yeah,
I got nothing to say. Cheaters are cheaters.
Yeah, exactly. But good movie overall.
Oh, yeah.
And the women love it. I mean,
It is. It's on the list of every woman. I'm
is.
pretty sure it is. My number 5 is a lesser known Clint Eastwood movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Heartbreak Ridge, where he plays an old Marine drill sergeant who's called back into duty after Grenada is, invaded, and they basically have to go save a platoon. He takes a bunch of young guys who aren't ready, but makes them ready because he's fucking Clint Eastwood, and he you're going to do what Clint Eastwood tells you to fucking do. So, I just thoroughly love it. Anytime Clint Eastwood can be a badass, which is basically every movie ever.
Every movie.
But him as a Marine and a drill sergeant. Enough said. It's a good one.
Exactly. Number 4 for me is basically the same premise that you just described. Old school astronaut coming back, about to go into space. I mean, old school pilot about to go into space because he's the only one that can fix it, and he takes some young bucks up with him. But I mean, this cast was absolutely amazing. I mean, Donald Sutherland, Tommy Lee Jones, and I mean, so many more. Like, it was hilarious. I loved the chemistry between all 4 of them. There was some questionable music choices, I'm not gonna lie, that even probably when they were watching this thing at the premiere, they were like, what the fuck is that? Like, I mean, the song that's playing when they're like walking back like into NASA when they're old men, like, it's weird. But I mean, if you blink, you miss it. Young Jesse Eisenberg is in this thing playing, I think it's young Tommy Lee Jones. No, it's young Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
That's who it is. But I mean, it was so good, and honestly, I haven't seen a lot of Donald Sutherland films either, so to be able to see him like this, I'm just saying, it's really freaking epic. I mean, I've seen Hunger Games, but, you know.
There's a little one that you might have heard of called MASH.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, my number 4. My list is basically the same description for every movie. It's about a guy who's old, who's coming back and or still trying to prove himself.
Yeah.
Like every movie, I feel like in the past 20 years, that's Clint. My number 4 is Trouble with the Curve, in which he plays an old baseball scout still trying to prove to the Atlanta Braves he's got what it takes to find talent. John Goodman is the guy that's with the Atlanta Braves organization that wants to fire him, but gives him one more chance because he's his buddy. Amy Adams plays his daughter, who also is a scout and kind of gets looped into the whole thing to kind of help her father out. And they're on the lookout for a pitcher that can throw a curveball. Trouble with the Curve is the name of it. And what I really like about this one, Justin Timberlake is in it. Justin Timberlake plays the love interest for Amy Adams, and anytime I see Justin Timberlake, I always want to reiterate over and over, this man is so underappreciated as an actor. He's a phenomenal actor. To hold your own against Clint and Amy Adams, you should just know that's enough to say that you're a great actor.
Exactly.
It's a really touching story, though. It honestly really is. It was shot in Atlanta at the stadium, and just it's a really good one. Trouble with the Clint's a little toned down in this one. He's not angry. He's not aggressive. He's not mean. He's just a dad with a job trying to keep it. Loves his daughter and loves the game of baseball. He's not beating anybody up. He's not. But it's still a great one. You got to watch it. Trouble with the Curve.
Yes. And number 3 for me, well, for both of us, is Gran Torino. This one is so damn good, guys. I mean, if you haven't checked this one out, what are you doing? This is the definition of America, basically. Like reading a book by its cover and or by their skin, but then either you take the time to get to learn these people and learn who they are and what they're about, or you don't take the time and you continue to hate them for a preconceived notion reason. So, I mean, it's a beautiful story about overcoming basically your outlooks that you've thought the whole life, but are able to make friends at the end of the day because you end up being the bigger person from your old self and being able to talk and have a discussion and just have that open dialect.
Yeah, this one, if you are easily offended, be careful.
Yeah.
Clint does not hold back with his racial comments in this one.
No.
It's pretty hardcore, but like you said, it's meant to be hardcore to make that message, to get that point. And you described it pretty well. I feel like there's a lot of people that came up in that era that either from World War II or Vietnam that had this hatred towards Asians, just this built-in, I can't stand them attitude, and so to overcome that and not judge by the, and become friends and help this family and do the things, it's a brilliant movie, guys. It's an absolutely brilliant movie, and you should really see it. But be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared. The first 20, 30 minutes are kind of rough, and you might be offended. So.
What I found funny though is I actually saw this in the theater, and there were a lot of Asian people in the theater who were slapping knees and laughing as hard as as they can at every racial they thoroughly enjoyed it. They're like,
That's weird.
Clint Eastwood, Zipperhead, and I was like, what are you doing? But they got the humor in it.
Yeah.
They got the storytelling in it, and that's what we need. See, entertainment is the way to get these things out there. That's how you do it.
Exactly. My number 2 goes to $1 Million Baby. Man, oh man, talk about Oscar royalty, I should say. But never seen this one before this week, and so damn good, man, so damn good. A perfect story about. It doesn't matter what race you are, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always go after your dreams and keep moving forward. I mean, the main character in the whole thing, I mean, she kept getting told time and time again, you're too old, you're a girl, why are you doing this? Get a real job. By, at first, Clint, his character, and her family the whole time. Everybody in the neighborhood's making fun of you, and they're laughing at you. But then, I mean... I was crying by the end of it. It's fucking so damn sad, especially when he injects her and turns everything off. I'm like, oh my god, because he's the only one who really cared about her at the end. And I mean, of course, Morgan Freeman. Such a great movie, man. If you haven't seen this one, please do so.
I love everything about how you just described it.
Yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman. Enough said.
Yeah.
And Swank was brilliant in it. And by the way, if you watch that movie, you're going to spot a lot of Marvel people early in their careers.
Yeah.
Popping up in that movie. Just saying. A lot of them. My number 2 is about an old guy that's trying to come back and still prove he can do his job. In the Line of Fire. Oh my gosh, this is one of my all-time favorite Clint Eastwood movies. He's an old Secret Service guy that took the bullet for a president at one point in his career, but he's old now. People are not sure he can still get the job done. He's near retirement, but guess what? A psychopath wants to kill the president. John Malkovich plays the psychopath. And holy shit, does he play a great psychopath. Anyway, he lures Clint's character out of retirement, or almost retirement, to save the president once again, showing that he'll still take a bullet. And he can still run inside the car. And all that kind of good shit, even though, man, he's 187 years old.
Yeah.
He's Clint fucking Eastwood, okay?
Yeah.
It's a great movie, all kidding aside, though. It's epic Clint. And John Malkovich is insane.
Yeah.
He's insane.
Agreed. Well, speaking of epic Clint and a fucking sociopath, my number 1 goes to Dirty Harry and the bad guy that was in Dirty Harry. Yeah, taking it back to the younger version of Clint. I love this one. I mean, filmmaking royalty, basically a classic, as they say. Something that, this is really random, but something that I really love about old film is the blood special effects. I don't know why I like that version of the blood special effects so damn much, but I mean, it kind of just takes me back to watching Big Jake and John Wayne and all that good shit. So yeah, number 1 for me, Dirty Harry. I mean, like I said, just such a damn classic, and I mean, is now my favorite Clint Eastwood movie.
And one of the most iconic lines in film history.
Always.
I mean, always. And he's got a lot of those.
He does.
My number 1 is one that he tucked in a drawer and kept it there for 18 years because it wasn't time. He got the script and he said, it isn't time. This needs to be made later. And he knew exactly when to make it. He proved that because they got the Oscar for it. I'm talking about his best Western. He's known for his Westerns early on, spaghetti Westerns, right? Outlaw Josie Wales, so many of them. But this one was the killer. Unforgiven. He brings back Morgan Freeman. It's him and Morgan Freeman and and Gene Hackman as the bad guy. What? It's one of Gene Hackman's last, significant roles before he went into retirement. And it's basically about an old cowboy who comes out of retirement because his best bud got killed by Gene Hackman, and he's going to exact revenge. All kidding aside, though, the acting between these 3 men is stellar. It's why they're all legends in the industry. And it's just unbelievable. The story, the visuals. It's Clint Eastwood, in my opinion, at his best, directing and starring with this stellar cast. It's brilliant. And if you haven't seen it, it deserved the Oscar. Check it out. Unforgiven.
Yes. Yes.
It's brilliant.
It is. It is. And I mean, if you guys have a #1 Clint Eastwood movie, we want to know. Be sure to add us on social media. We love the fan interaction. We love talking to everybody. And I mean, everybody loves Clint Eastwood.
I mean, there's so many. You guys could have your top 5s and never duplicate anything on our list.
Exactly.
I mean, we didn't even touch the Westerns other than Unforgiven. Any Which Way Was Loose with the orangutan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Play Misty for Me. There's so many, guys.
So many. Now heading over to the box office recap. #1 this week was Suicide Squad with $26.3 million.
Yeah, that disappointed me.
Yeah, that one. #2 was Jungle Cruise with 15.8. #3 was Space Jam: A New Legacy with 4.3. #4 was Old with 4.1 million. And #5 was Black Widow with 3.9 million. Now, I just think there's, I don't want to say theater fatigue, but I think theater, terrified, theater horror. I think people are just scared to go through the theater. And if they go to the theater, they're not going back more than once for the same movie. So I think more than the streaming services being same-day releases, I think that's the cause more than that. With the drought, basically.
Agreed, because they know they can only see it once, and then they can see it at home. I think it's a combination. They're terrified to go see it, but they decide to, but they definitely won't go see it twice because of COVID. And then that added security that they can see it again if they want to at home. I mean, it just makes sense.
It does. It does. New movies that are coming out this week are Free Guy. Free Guy's out right now with Ryan Reynolds. Don't Breathe 2. Coda. Respect with our buddy Joshua McHale.
Yes, I really want to see this one.
I do too. And #5, The East is also coming out. So be sure to check out those. Movies you can still go see right now: Stillwater, The Green Knight, Snake Eyes, Escape Room, The Tournament of Champions, and F9, The Fast Saga.
Where is Escape Room still at?
No idea.
I'm just wondering how this thing is still lingering. I don't even know.
Exactly. Now heading over to the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment. Oh man, these are by no surprise, especially the TV show, because a lot of people, I've been hearing word of mouth that this show is just so good. I watched the first episode. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, from the first episode, but I mean, I haven't gone further than that. Maybe there's more at the end of the tunnel. I don't know. Maybe I have to keep going. The top trending movie, though, is The Suicide Squad, by no surprise. The top trending show, the one I was just referring to, is Outer Banks. Literally everybody at the day job is talking about it. Everybody on social media is talking about it. So got to keep moving forward.
It's true.
And there's season 2's out now. So I think season 2 is hitting the fucking wall. Everybody's excited about it. And star Madeline Klein is the top trending star.
From Outer Banks.
Outer Banks.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's super good, man. Super good. We got to thank our guest one more time, James Moses Black, for coming on the show.
Yes.
Episode 170. We got to thank the audience for getting a little crazy with us on the show. We appreciate it. And you guys know you can follow us on social media at ITCAFpodcast on all social media platforms, including TikTok, and at Crazy Ant Media on all social media platforms.
Yes.
Not including TikTok. You can follow us both personally on all social media platforms at JLoFantastic and
at Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
Yes, and you guys know you can subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. If you're watching this video on YouTube, we appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications coming from Crazy Ant Media. And you guys know you can visit the website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We have new gear out right now. Check it out, man. This is literally something for everyone, because as you see on your screen right now, it's Proud Crazy, insert there. Basically Proud Crazy husband, Proud Crazy mom, Proud Crazy daughter. It's absolutely amazing. Something for everyone, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, great show. Honestly, I mean, it's sad to say because everybody knows how much we love Disney, but I think my favorite part was deep diving into Chapek's bullshit because it's really putting a damper on Disney's success.
It is. And you can, like I said, it's a Band-Aid. Those numbers are a Band-Aid. This guy has been making some decisions and continues to make some decisions that I think are not good for Disney. I just think I don't know. We could talk about it forever, but
it's rough.
It's bad.
It is.
I think people are finding out quickly that he might not have been the best choice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, call up Kevin Mayer. Call him up.
Too late now. He's got Hello Sunshine.
I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, but it is what it is, man. I mean, this is an ongoing thing with him. I don't see this stopping anytime soon.
Especially when he makes stupid-ass statements
yeah,
like he keeps
the
making.
Shang-Chi thing literally just happened today, on Saturday the 14th. So,
yeah, it's just...
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how they move forward and if there's going to be an executive decision somewhere to be like, get the fuck out. So, you know, and I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what else to say.
I don't know, but it was one of my favorite sections too, just like talking about, because it's the Mouse House, man. It's like the one that everybody like tries to be, right? Like that everybody wants to go, and to see it in trouble and treading water is kind of like just, it's heartbreaking.
Definition of legacy.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Don't fuck up the mouse, bro. Don't fuck up the mouse.
Don't freaking
All I'm saying is Michael Eisner. Remember when he started making some questionable decisions? That didn't end well. And you're no Michael Eisner, sir. I'm just saying.
Not at all.
That's my opinion.
Not at all. Not the time, not the tenure, not any of that shit.
Nor the genius.
Nor the genius. I mean, still bald. Both bald, but not the same cranium. Oh, man. But
Iger did have a good set of hair, didn't he?
He
skipped that part.
He did. He was like, it's fine. It's fine. It's so freaking great. But you guys know the only way we know how to end this show with appreciating and loving the one and only Oprah!